As if Tim Burton hadn't made enough iconic content already, he's just dropped his latest Netflix bombshell, and the world is losing it. Wednesday is an Addams Family spinoff that brings the perfect Gen Z touch to the beloved characters, and fans are loving it. In today's video, we're taking a deeper look at one of the most memorable characters, plus some hints at the bigger Addams Family universe. First off, let's look at this iconic character. It would be wrong to say there's any character in the Addams Family series and Wednesday who wasn't iconic on their own. After all, Wednesday and Morticia may be some of the most recognizable Halloween costumes ever, and every single character has become a part of pop culture forever. But there's one character you might remember as being totally different in the 1991 film, and his look and personality in the Netflix series are completely revamped. Yes, we're talking about Uncle Fester, who went through a complete personality switch between 1991 and now. Back in 1991, he was played by Christopher Lloyd alongside Christina Ricci's Wednesday, and his whole thing was that he had amnesia throughout the movie until he was struck by lightning, which gave him the power to conduct electricity. In the Netflix series, Fester is way smarter and has an important role to play in the series, which is when he shows up to help Wednesday protect Nevermore by identifying the monster as a Hyde and helping her take it down. The series doesn't exactly mention how Fester got his powers like in the original movie. There's no mention of a lightning strike here. Instead, we just accept that he's always had those powers. We also know he never attended Nevermore, mostly because he wasn't smart enough to have made it in. Whichever way he got his powers, they were definitely helpful, like when he was able to bring Thing back to life. Overall, he's described as a troublemaker, but not the evil kind. So what exactly does the series change about Fester? If you're anything like every other cult movie fan, you've definitely watched the 1991 version of the Addams Family more than once. In that case, you'll definitely remember everything about Fester. In the movie, he basically tries to get in the Addams good books so that he can scam them out of all their money and their home. But what we have to remember is that Fester wasn't actually Uncle Fester at all. He was actually the son of a loan shark, and his real name was Gordon. But no good movie would just end it at that. In a moment of Addamsception, it turned out that Fester, who was actually Gordon, was actually Uncle Fester, and he just lost his memory when he got stuck in the Bermuda Triangle. There's no denying that the Fester in the movie wasn't that smart. This is where Wednesday completely changed him as a character. The new Fester is a lot more confident and a lot smarter. He was a prisoner in a monastery where he learned how to fight, and we know from this series that he taught Wednesday as well. He was also a pretty smooth criminal, having pulled off a major bank heist in Boston before showing up to Jericho for his niece. He's also clearly shown to be Wednesday's favorite, since he was the only person who was able to get a smile out of her. Fans are also loving the fact that Fester finally seemed proud to be different, just like the rest of the Addams. Plus, he's not the only character who got changed. The Netflix series took complete creative freedom to change up personalities and looks however they wanted, mostly because it would help fit the more modern show better and appeal to the new audiences tuning in. In fact, the title character herself also went through a couple changes between the show and the movie. Wednesday kept those iconic pigtails and sunny outlook on life, and the original actress Christina Ricci even had a little cameo in the series. For the most part, the show kept all the most memorable parts of Wednesday the same, but she's the 7th actress to have played the kid at this point, so it makes sense that she would bring her own personal touch to the character as well. She's still a seer, just like her mom Morticia, but she has a bit of a different backstory this time around. In the series, we learn that she's got some pretty dark history in her bloodline with the rest of Jericho, which might be why she is the way she is. In the movie, though, Wednesday's motivations were just dark with no explanation. All she wanted to do was torture Pugsley and murder her baby brother, which is exactly why everyone loved her. In the series, she's got a more mystery-solving side to her, which is something everyone seems to like. Even her wardrobe gets an update in the series. Unlike the original Wednesday, this one wears hoodies and pants. But don't worry, because she sticks to that all-black color scheme. Now, forget about changes. This character didn't even show up. The new series did a good job with the transition from the older stuff, keeping the characters similar and allowing old as well as new viewers to enjoy it just the same. The changes to the characters were minor, and in fact, they felt like natural character development and fit their personalities. But one character everyone misses is Grandmama. She was a huge character in the original show and movies, and it felt weird for most fans to not see her again in this rendition. We still know she exists because Wednesday mentions her to Eugene in episode 3 at Pilgrim World. She later tells Eugene about her childhood birthday parties, and we see a bunch of little figures on the cake she talks about. Grandmama is clearly there, which means she exists in the universe of Wednesday. But the reason she didn't have a bigger role is actually pretty simple, since the show is focused on on Wednesday, hence the title, it doesn't really focus on other family members that much, not even Gomez and Morticia. Since Grandmama wasn't essential to any of the stories, it made sense not to have her take up any screen time. Next, could we have a spin-off soon? While Wednesday may already be a spin-off of the original Addams Family movies, it actually set up a pretty perfect spin-off within the show itself. Fans are loving how the show focuses on one member of the iconic family, so any future spin-offs about other members are pretty likely. In season 1 of the show, we see a lot of flashbacks to Gomez and Morticia's teenage years at Nevermore, which finally ends in the death of Garrett Gates in 1990. There's definitely plenty of focus on the parents in their youth, which basically screams spin-off. Since there hasn't been a prequel series to the franchise so far, it makes complete sense that there would be a spin-off focusing on the parents' teen years. Wednesday already set up the entire story for them, and there's a lot that could be done with it. Fans will get a chance to see Morticia's time as the resident queen bee of Nevermore and how she and Gomez fell in love with each other. If their adult relationship is anything to go by, they may have been even more adorably in love as teenagers. The only big issue is the same as the biggest reason to make the spin-off. Since Wednesday shows us exactly how things went down, from the stalking to the eventual death of Garrett Gates, fans would already have the main plot line spoiled, but that doesn't mean there isn't room for a lot more to happen as well. Finally, here's everything we know about the future of Wednesday. There's no denying that the first season of Wednesday has been a huge hit. Everything is set up for success, from having Tim Burton as the director to an all-star cast like Jenna Ortega and Catherine Zeta-Jones. It would have been more surprising if the show wasn't as big of a hit as it is. But does that mean we're getting a new season? At the moment, there's no way to tell. Netflix hasn't released any news confirming or denying a renewal, but then again, the streaming platform rarely gives renewals to shows right away. On top of that, it's not like the show is based on a book or a comic series that gives material for several seasons, which means the only thing that'll get fans a new season is if season 1 gets really popular, which isn't looking too tough. In fact, the co-creator of the show, Alfred Goff, has already said that there are discussions about season 2, mostly because there's a lot more to explore in the Addams universe. Judging by the timeline that Netflix usually renews popular shows, we can probably expect the good news to drop around February 2023, around 3 months after the release. That would prep us for a winter 2023 debut, with a November drop at the earliest. There are still plenty of questions that the first season set up, but didn't answer, which already gives us a perfect opening for a second season. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think of the show? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.